Namaskar, viewers. Today's topic is Bhagavad Gita. And before I introduce the speaker, let me give little background about this session. So let me start with Shloka. Mukam karoti vachalam pangul langayate girim yat krupatma vande vasparmanandam madhavam वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु. So this is the glory of Lord Krishna. And as all of us know that messages that is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita through Krishna Arjun Samvad are very much eternal and useful in every situation, in every yuga, and in every era. Somehow we are not able to understand that and we are not able to relate to it because it is in Sanskrit and it is little difficult for people to understand and relate to it. So today's intention is I have a speaker who is doing, I would say, Gita Seva for many years, and her background is such that um, she is from academics background, but when she was in her schools, she has scored wonderful marks in her ninth and 10th grade. So generally, the norm is such children who come in merit list, they choose either science or commerce. But she chose arts because had an immense love for Sanskrit language, and she wanted to pursue in that subject, and that's the reason she chose arts. She got the highest award from Ferguson College, that is their fellowship. Uh, and she also was a faculty in USA and Germany's universities, and she was also director India for Associated Colleges Midwest Chicago. Her name is Dr. Sucheta Paranjape. She doesn't need an introduction, many people know her, and she has been giving online discourses on Veda, Upanishada, and Sanskrit as of now. She has done one more contribution that is called Gitamrut series on All India Radio Pune. And her subject or favorite subjects are not maths or science alone, but also Gita Upanishad and Mahabharat, where Bhagavad Gita is also part of it. Dr. Sucheta thinks that not only the conferences and meetings should be addressed, but she feels that the common people should be aware of it. They should also know about it, and the knowledge should be shared with each one and everyone possible. And that's the reason she is readily available for any small platform, any small discussion, any small gathering. So let me first of all formally welcome Dr. Sucheta to the program. Namaskar, Dr. Sucheta.
Namaskar.
And Suswagatam. Doctor, as I said, you have been teaching Bhagavad Gita and Veda Upanishad for some time now. I'm sure everybody has asked you these questions, but once again, many more needs to know answers for it. So my general question is, most of us, especially during the pandemic period also, we have seen it, are always in the fear of losing something. There is a lot of uncertainty and there is a lot of insecurity. So what is the solution that we can take from Bhagavad Gita?
Namo Namaha. I would rather start my response to you with a shloka which says, Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Mrutam Mahat. The gist of the verse says that Gita is the essence, Dugdha Amruta of all the Upanishads. So when we look at Gita, think that we are reading or we are looking at the Upanishads. Okay? I mean, not the whole of it, but its gist. Secondly, I would like to say this at the very beginning, very outset, that Gita is one of the three pillars of Indian philosophy. Okay, Prasthana Trayi. The first ones are Upanishads.
Yes.
It is impossible for any man to read all the Upanishads together.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I mean, there are limitations to human time, brain, everything. So we can't read all the Upanishads. Then the second one is Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra, it is so difficult to text that even with the help of translations and commentaries, we can't understand. And the third one is Gita, which is composed mainly, I mean, of course, it's composed for Arjuna, but this is composed mainly for the common man. So the very fact that its target audience is common man, which tells you that Gita is for common man even during today's times. Right?
True.
Now, I want to tell you something very different. For all the philosophy in the world, people have always said, not only Indians, but even Western philosophers have said that Western philosophy is nothing but pursuit of pure science and knowledge. Okay? Whereas Indian philosophy aims or targets at giving solutions to human suffering.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the basic difference. And that is why whatever Gita says, the main aim for that is giving solutions. So keep that in mind. And then, things become clearer to you. As you know, Gita, I won't go into the details, how and when it was told, etc. Everybody knows that. But a lot of things have been said about Gita, and I do want to bring them about. Of course, I'll come to your question, no doubt about that. That Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, wrote a wonderful commentary on Gita. And it was after that Gita got the status what it has today. Okay. Then after him, there were many scholars like Madhva, Ramanuja, Vallabha, etc. They also wrote. We know Dnyaneshwari, which is also commentary on Gita itself. Then Lokmanya Tilak, he wrote Gita Rahasya. You know why? Because he also had a political agenda.
True.
He, just as Gita tells you to do your duty, he indirectly told people to do their duty. Right?
Very true.
Mahatma Gandhi has also translated Gita. Not only that, Gandhiji always said that whenever disappointment faces me, important words, whenever disappointment faces me, then I turn to Gita, which is my, I like these words, I quote, which is my spiritual dictionary. So if you have any problem, go to Gita. Then of course, Aurobindo also said a lot about Gita, we know. And today, first of all, I do pranams to Vivekananda because it's his Jayanti today. And you have chosen a wonderful day. Vivekananda also said, I mean, he gave various talks, we know that. But he said, and that is important, that Gita is nothing but a bunch of spiritual flowers. They have different colors, they have different fragrance, different length. The philosophy is not the same. The first chapter, second chapter will be different, but still the bouquet looks fabulous. Just as 7 colors make a beautiful rainbow, different philosophies also make Gita very attractive. With this much in mind, let us go to Gita proper. Right? Now you asked me, what can Gita teach us in today's time? But first of all, do we know what Gita has taught to Arjuna? Right? And what did Gita teach? I mean, Shri Krishna. Gita is literally, the meaning is the sung, the chanted one. Shri Krishna must have chanted it because it is verse form. And there are hardly 700 shlokas. And it's easier to remember all the 700 shlokas.
Absolutely.
So anyway, what the crux of the philosophy is, do your duty. Okay. Niyatam karma kuru.
Guru.
You call it karma yoga, you call it
Yeah.
whatever, that just
Yeah.
doesn't matter. These are
Yeah.
only labels.
Yes.
The most important thing is you must do your work,
Duty.
duty.
Yes.
I don't want to say work.
Work, yeah.
In fact, I would rather use the word karma
Karma.
because that has a very different
Yes.
connotation.
Essence.
Okay?
Yeah.
Secondly, somehow we have developed such a mindset that if Gita tells you that karmanyevadika raste ma phaleshu, etc., we don't care about it. But if Nike tells you with that arrow and then they tell you just do it, every t-shirt, every shoe, every sports bag has that motto, just do it, and we are impressed by that.
True.
But it is not Nike, it is Gita who has said it first, that just do your duty. Right? And Gita uses the word karma, and this karma, even during pandemic, remember, whatever duty we had, we have performed it well. I would say especially the frontline warriors, as we call them, the doctors, the nurses, even the ward boys and other people, people who clean the streets.
Absolutely.
Everybody was responsibly doing their karma. And that is why we came out of it. I mean,
successfully,
we paid some price for that, but that was inevitable. But we have come out of it quite safe compared to the entire world.
Absolutely.
Right? That is because the philosophy of Gita of doing your karma is imbibed in us. Okay. So first I wanted to talk about this karma. Secondly, you mentioned that we have lost some things. You're talking about losing some things. I am talking about losing some ones, the dear ones. In a family, there have been deaths. I mean, a very sad situation, but in the beginning, it all happened. Now, again, Gita tells you, that in the second adhyaya, this verse is famous, so I'll quote it. Vasausi jirnani yatha vihai. That just as you change your old clothes and take a new cloth and then put it on clothes, similarly, your body sheds your soul sheds the old body and then takes a different form. Now, this is so well got into our blood. In fact, I would say in our genes, that we take death quite stoically.
Yes.
We take death quite stoically. And we say, Ishwarecha baliyasi, or whatever else. Or then we say, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu, whatever is born will have to go. Or it was the fruit of your previous karma, whatever. But we have learned to take death stoically,
quite courageously,
in its own way. That is also Gita's teaching.
True.
I mean, this is what I think, that it is how it is relevant. The only thing is, we are not aware that we are following Gita. Because we don't study Gita.
True.
We don't read Gita. But today I'm going to tell you that it is so simple. It is so beautiful. The style is only conversation. Gita Arjuna, I mean, Krishna Arjuna Samvade. You know that it is only a Samvada, and therefore reading Gita is a pleasure. If you know a little Sanskrit, you can understand the meaning. Once you understand the meaning,
you enjoy it.
You can understand the philosophy.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, there are steps. First, Patthana, then Adhyayana, and then Manana. When you do Manana, then you imbibe that philosophy and then you start acting accordingly.
Correct.
And therefore, that is important. Can I answer another question which you put? About in today's time, which one is better? Jnana Marga, Karma Marga?
Before that, Srimato Bhagavato Gita Sah Gita. So the one which talks about glory of Ishvara is Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Having said so, Arjuna, who is representative of us, let's put it in that way, and Ishwara is Ishwara, who is guiding Arjuna through his tough time and giving him complete advice. But Arjuna himself in third adhyaya said that Jayasi chet karmanaste mana buddhir janardana tatkim
Yeah.
karmane ghore mam niyojesi keshava. So in our life also, there are many tough stages wherein it is very difficult to stick to the principles, to the values, how much ever I want to, but I'm not able to because of circumstances. So how to, the major thing in today's context is there are many people who we cannot withstand.
Yeah.
There are many ideologies which we cannot withstand. And even in our close relationship also we find it. So how do we face unwanted people around us?
Okay. First of all, let us see the dilemma which Arjun faced. And like you very rightly pointed out, we are all Arjun.
Yes.
In Marathi, there is a book by the famous renowned author V. Kale, and the title is Apan Sares Arjun. We all are Arjuna. What do you mean by Arjuna? That every time in our mind there is a conflict between feelings and emotions on one hand and duty and karma on the other
hand.
And we have to make a choice. Right? Now, how do we make a choice? It depends on the situation. It also depends on what you are, right? It also depends on what you want at the end. So the choice can be different, but the choice has to be karma. You have to do your duty. You cannot just be washed away by your emotions. You have to control them and do your duty. This is what Arjuna did at the end. First, he was scared of fighting with his own cousins and guru and grandfather. Actually, he knew that, didn't he? When he decided to fight the Kauravas, he knew all this, that who is going to face him. But it's one thing to know, and it's one thing to actually face that moment. Right? Sometimes it so happens, I'll give you an everyday, not everyday, sorry, but a common example that someone is very ill in our house, and we know that today, tomorrow, maybe next week, something will happen, and this person will pass away. We say, oh, we are prepared for that. You never are prepared for that. When it actually happens, you lose your balance, you lose your, what should I say, sense of logic and everything. And at least temporarily, you are completely, you have destroyed yourself in a way, you know. So such things happen. But like Krishna told Arjuna, we also remember this, that when there is a conflict between dharma, that is karma, and your feelings, karma always is higher. And everybody, when you follow your karma, things become easier. Can I give you an example here?
Sure.
How people, I mean, because we are talking about today's life. We all do that. We all do that. As a mother, I have scolded my kids, children. I have even hit them at times. Was I happy to hit them and make them cry? No. As an emotional level, I was sorry. But it was my duty to teach them how to behave properly. And so I did that. But the best example, which has recently happened in 2008. Remember 26/11?
Yes.
When the terrorists came and took over Taj Hotel and all that. The GM, the general manager of Taj Hotel, was Mr. Kanga.
Okay.
When he was directing we have seen many times how the staff of Taj Hotel behaved so wonderfully great, you know. I mean, hats off to them.
Very true.
They were not trained for this, but they all did that. And what did he do? Somebody told him that your family, that is your wife and two sons, have been burnt in the fire. They were staying in Taj itself.
Correct.
He said, oh, really? And then he immediately turned to guide the staff and the guests. And I think this is what I mean by karma taking over your emotions. Didn't he feel sad? Of course he did.
Of course it did,
But
yes.
he realized that karma was more important at that time. And just see the coincidence.
Yeah.
His parents have named him as Karamveer. So
Acha,
he was Karmavir Kanga.
Karmavir
And
Kanga.
probably, but see, this philosophy is imbibed in us right from your childhood,
True.
right? And that
Yes.
is why this could happen. So even in today's world, we follow it.
In the women's context, Doctor, women have to face a lot of people in their daily life, in their prapancha, in their duty, as you say, the kartavya we call it, and they go through a lot of stress and a lot of mental challenge, agony. Um, how should they take the right message from which I will not say that you should tell me the perfect shloka as such, verse as such, but what will help them to face that agony? Because as you say, duty first.
Duty first. Karma. Your karma you must do. And do you know something? I have mentioned this earlier, but the choice depends on the situation. The situation many times demands the choice, right? Lokmanya Tilak has given a wonderful example in Gita Rahasya. I'll tell you that. He said, suppose I'm standing in the street and there are two roads going, one to the left, other to the right, and a butcher comes and asks me, so did you see the cow which ran from this side? And Lokmanya Tilak has said, even though I have seen the cow taking the left road, I would tell him, go to the right, it went there. So, and what he had justified it so well. He said, your karma at that time is not to let him kill the cow,
yes,
but to karma is to
protect,
save this cow.
Yeah.
And so you should do that. Sometimes, maybe our choices may not be correct, what you said. But that is fine. I mean, we are human beings, right? Every time we are not 100% perfect. No one is. Not only you and me, but even others are not. So once in a while, if the choice does not go well, it's okay. At least we can learn from that. Right? And therefore, you have to learn from your mistakes and keep on improving on your own self.
Correct.
That is the most important.
Repeat the same mistake again and again.
Sorry?
Do not repeat the same mistake again.
No. Make new mistakes every time.
Yes. Doctor, another situation that generally all of us face is in Bhakti Yoga. There is a mind of ours spoken by Arjuna, like Shri Krishna said that Atha Chittam Samadhatum na Shaknosi Mayi Sthiram Abhyasa Yogena Tato Mamip Chaptum Dhananjaya.
Yeah.
Calmness is a very, very big challenge, Doctor. And keeping ourselves calm in every situation is really a big.
Perfect. Shri Krishna in his Dhyana Yoga has given the answer in 2 words. Abhyasena cha kaunteya vairagyena vipa. So if you want to achieve, whether it is yoga, bhakti, dhyana, the first thing you have to do is vairagya, detachment. Detachment from everything. I mean, detachment not only from money, but detachment from your dear family is also important. That is called vairagya. But most of us are tied by what we call asakti. Once Chinmayananda said a wonderful sentence, you would love that. And so I said, I will talk about that. He said, asakti is bad. लेकिन याद रखना कि जो आसक्ति है वो जा भी सकती है ना? So how will that go? It will go by abhyasa. And you know what is abhyasa? Abhyasa is not reading books.
No, practice.
Abhyasa is pauna punyena pravrutti. Yes. Do it over and over again. And nowadays the psychologists tell you that if you do something for 21 days,
Hmm,
you
hmm.
form a habit.
Hmm.
So similarly, if you do abhyasa,
Hmm.
you can do anything, even the middle. And Krishna himself admits, he says, Indriyani pramathi. All your sensory organs, they are going to be attracted to some sensory objects,
True.
right? Vishaya, as we call them.
Yeah.
And he also tells you, Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha, how one after other you get entangled into
Entangled.
Shadripus
Hmm.
and Buddhinashar Pranashati. Ultimately, you are completely destroyed. But he says, even then, at least make an effort.
Yes.
That is important.
Important.
But I would also like to tell you one thing. I mean, we are talking about bhakti and all. There are 4 margas which Krishna talks about.
Yes. Yes.
Bhakti
Please.
is something which is very commonly observed, especially today, because in Maharashtra and everywhere else, bhakti is easier to practice.
Practice. True.
And we have this Varkari Sampradaya, and therefore it is easier. It's commonly known also. Then there is Dhyana Marga. People these days have started doing asanas,
Yes.
but asana and dhyana are 2 different things. Asana is only one step towards dhyana.
True.
Then there is karma marga, that is you do your karma, but don't expect. Don't expect the fruit. But here we are. I mean, even when I go for a morning walk, 2 women, they are talking to each other. And the first one would say, I did so much for my sister-in-law. She doesn't even call me for lunch. So for every small thing, we have some expectation.
Yeah.
Right? And the 4th one is Jnana Marga. That is, you study. This is like the Jnana Marga of commentators and all. Not possible for a common man. But I think that these 4 margas, I call them GPS, Gita's positive systems. Gita tells you, just as GPS tells you that this is the shortest route, this is the most scenic route, this is a crowded route, you have to make a choice. Similarly, when Gita offers so many things to you, you have to make a choice and you have to decide again, like I said, what you want, what the others around you want, what the situation demands, you take into consideration all that and do that.
Yeah, and I echo your point, like you have to practice to get detachment from asakti, desires, and all the unwanted. So अभ्यास पे समर्थ होते मत कर्म परमो भव मदर्थपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिं वाप्स्यसि.
Now I want to say something about Gita.
जी.
Which is not generally known. We look at Gita as a spiritual text, as it is not actually a religious text, but something to do with religion and all those things, metaphysics, Brahma Vidyayam, Yoga Shastra, all that. But Gita has a universal appeal. You know that. It's not only Indians who read Gita.
No, many people.
Is that? I'll give you a couple of examples. 10 years back, in Russia, Gita was banned. ISKCON people, they went there and Gita was banned. And the case went to the court of law. And the judge gave the ruling that no, Gita has nothing to do with any religion. It is pure spiritual philosophy and it must be read whether in Russia or anywhere else in the
country.
I take that as a victory for us.
Yes, absolutely.
And secondly, and this example is more important, long back in 1945, so when the first atom bomb was made, there was this test explosion. And Robert Oppenheimer was the father of the atom bomb. He was the chief person. He was a nuclear physicist. When the explosion happened, nobody expected that big bang or whatever you call it. And of course, there were journalists. They took the mic and they asked Oppenheimer, so sir, what do you think? What is your reaction? And what do you think his reaction was? His reaction was, Divi Surya Sahasrasya. You know this verse from Gita. He said, he quoted that verse. And he said, if 1,000 suns rise in the sky at the same time, I saw such brightness today. So just imagine, Oppenheimer had learned Sanskrit. He knew Gita by heart.
True.
And he has said that Gita has molded philosophy of my life. So if you think, I mean, not you, but if anyone thinks that Gita is, what should I say, old man's book, you know, that when you are retired, then read Gita. It's not so. Gita has been read by scientists, Gita has been read by artists, and of course, Western philosophers too.
Yes.
And I really, I mean, for me, that's a great, what should I say? We don't need a certificate from anybody else, but that's an honor that Gita has.
Yes, very true.
So, Oppenheimer's story is something which people should know.
No. And I also want to add one example here now that we are talking. And today is Swami Vivekananda Jayanti Youth Day celebration. So when Swamiji was in America on his second visit, one of the Western philosopher had invited him to his home, and he made him to sit in his study and left him there for some time just to see what he does. And then when he came back, he asked Swamiji that, did you see my study room? He said, yes, I did. And he said, how many books do you know? He said, almost all. But he said, do you know so he had kept Bhagavad Gita at the bottom and all other Western philosophy books on top of it.
That.
So he asked Swamiji, do you see where does Gita stand in my study? So Swamiji just gave a very beautiful smile and he said, yes, it's the foundation of your study.
Very true. It is a foundation of our studies.
So,
and I would always say, you know, I would give one, I mean, just by way of reference.
Sure.
Gorakhpur Gita Press has taken out wonderful and simple editions of Gita.
Absolutely.
In all languages.
Yes.
Indian and even otherwise.
yes.
English and all those.
Yes.
And there, first they give the verse, then they give the meaning of every word. Dharma kshetre is equal to Kurukshetre. What does that mean? And then they give the meaning. If you want to start reading Gita, instead of going to Radhakrishnan's book in the beginning, first start with Gorakhpur Press,
Gita Press,
and then Gita Press, and then start reading Gita.
Very true.
You would realize what beauty it is. Are the style is so wonderful.
Wonderful.
There are similes and metaphors, you know, from your everyday life.
Yes.
So it's very beautiful.
Beautiful, and it's an authentic essence. So people should go with that first.
Please wait.
Yeah.
Coming to second adhyaya, Sankhya Yoga. Yes, go ahead.
Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibratah, smriti brahmansha buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. So unless
it starts with sangat sanjayate kama. With asakti you develop desires,
and that is how buddhi brahmansha takes place.
Right.
Now, very true. It sounds really good shloka and very important shloka. However, Swamiji, now that today we are having a very important auspicious day as well.
Yes.
Swami Vivekananda, when he started working and he got the realization that he should serve Bharat Mata, he said that as of now, people were in a tamasik vritti. Nidra alasya. They were not ready to take any action, do anything.
Right.
So he first wanted to introduce rajas, so that some sort of passion comes and some sort of energy comes in the society, and they start taking activities further. But what happens now, doctor, that when you are in a active rajas mode, wherein you want to achieve something, you also somewhere there are chances of slipping into tamasic vritti, like hankering, jealousy, hatred, then also ego, most important. So how to win that?
Okay, so you are thinking about Traigunya,
Ji.
right? So it is sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Okay, so this is fine. Everybody knows about this. What is very important is try to have a balance or equilibrium of all the three gunas.
But that's very challenging.
It's very, of course, it's challenging. I mean, even if I ask you to keep quiet for 10 minutes every day, when there are people around you, it is difficult. All good things, in the beginning are difficult, but with practice, we can manage. I'll tell you my example. I don't exactly do dhyana and samadhi, but whatever meditation I do, when I first started it, I could not keep my eyes steady and closed for more than 2 minutes. This must be happening to everybody.
Yes, I'm sure.
So this is how things happen. So whether it is sattva sometimes goes up, sometimes rajas goes up, and that is why I say no one is perfect. What I mean to say is no one has the excess of sattva, and those who have excess of sattva, we call them Swami Vivekananda. Right? And those who have excess of rajas and especially tamas.
Adhogati.
So equilibrium.
Equilibrium is very important, but
that is important.
That is very important. And again, it falls back to the same thought that you are saying, that your kartavya is the most important priority.
Yeah, right.
And that is what is you should be pursuing. Sucheta ji, one very basic question, but I think you will have a lots to tell about it. What is the difference between spirituality and divinity?
And
divinity.
Okay. Divine is relating to God. Okay. And spirituality is relating to something which is beyond what we call metaphysics.
Okay.
Physical is material things, all these books,
sarees,
whatever. These are all physical things. And meta literally means beyond. Okay. So when you go beyond that and think, then there are two ways. You can either be divinity, follow the path of divinity, or follow the path of spirituality. If you follow the path of divinity, it is like Bhakti Marga. Right? But if you follow the path of spirituality, it is mostly Jnana Marga. Because God may or may not be there. In fact, most of the time, God may not be there. See, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad doesn't talk of Rama and Krishna and Ganapati. It talks about Jiva, Brahma, Atma, right? That is spirituality. Whereas when Puranas talk about some things, that is divinity.
Okay.
Nothing is good, nothing is bad. I don't want to label anything, but the difference is very clearly marked.
So people get attracted to the particular personality or particular thought process.
Yes, right.
And they think serving that person or serving that organization is spirituality or is bhakti. But somewhere when it comes to, as you say, the personal losses or some sort of challenging situations, they simply fail to face it. So that foundation does not help them. So somewhere people need to introspect and understand that it's like Atma Uddhar is most important before, getting into any spiritual practice or so-called Samaj Karya, they call it.
Yeah.
Please share your view.
I would first of all make this very clear. When you are talking about Mathadipati and people getting attracted, and we have examples all around us, especially nowadays, they have sprung up like
anything.
So they are there, but they are not divine. I mean, not all of them.
All of them.
They are not. All of them are not divine. At the most, I would say that people who are their followers, they do everything out of what is called hero worship. Right? It is hero worship which leads to deification. And then later on, they are considered to be God. People do fall prey to that. I think people are trying to look for false of fake
Hmm.
peace of mind.
Mind, huh?
And for that,
Hmm.
they go after someone or
Yes.
other.
Yes.
And in Marathi, there was a great play. I will just give you the name. Bua Tethe Baya. Or even To Mi Navhets. That even there is an episode where people have faith.
Yes.
And if you exploit their faith
Yes.
for your own advantage,
Yes.
then you are no divine person.
True.
A
And it's the
divine
biggest
person
sin
never
also.
tells you that I am divine. Come
Yes.
and worship me,
Yes.
give me money,
Yes.
give me gold.
Yes.
Nothing of the
Yes.
sort.
Yes.
So
Yes.
people who say that are not divine,
Hmm.
they go to Himalayas or they kind of go into
Solitude.
what should I say? Not exactly sannyasa, but hermitage.
Hermitage,
And they
yes.
spend their life there.
Yeah.
So don't even think of these people as no way divine.
I want you to also give some thought on this latest situation that the society is going through. Like, in the digital media era, social media era, it's hard to stick to the basics and to the fundamentals. So, once again, what message people should take, or what learnings rather people should take from Bhagavad Gita?
Simple. Can I tell you in 2 letters? Two. Satya.
Satya.
If you have Satya, whether it is social media or your everyday life or your meditation practice, follow Satya. And then this Satyameva Jayate doesn't only mean that if you speak the truth, you will win. No, you have to follow truth in all wakes of life. That is very important. And according to me, Satya is the principle which will guide you. You're talking about digital. I mean, most of the things which come on WhatsApp and all, I mean, our
Social
generation
media
is not glued to that,
right?
Fortunately.
Right.
But most of the things which come on WhatsApp are fake news, as we know, right? Somebody writes something and everybody, it went viral. What do you mean by viral? Going viral is not good. It's a viral disease, right? And so even something which becomes viral video, it's a disease to the society. But right now, especially because of this work from home, schools online, and all those things, everybody has a digital instrument in hand.
Yes.
And that is why this is happening. In fact, according to me, if you ask me, this is nothing to do with Gita, but the worst effect of the pandemic is that people have become addicted to the digital media.
As you said that Satya and the content is what people should know to make a smart choices.
Yeah, I mean, and you are wise enough to sift the news and find out which is right and which is not right, and which is politically motivated.
True.
And I mean, young children watching stuff, which they should not be, is all because of the digital media.
Yeah.
We can't help it. Like I said, that is the worst impact of the pandemic.
Literally, please explain the meaning of first 3 shlokas of 15th Adhyaya.
Ashwattham Prahuravyam.
Yes.
Urdhva Moolam Adhishakam Ashwattham Prahuravyam. First of all, this idea of the entire samsara is an Ashwatth tree is not new in Gita. I mean, Gita hasn't said it for the first time. It comes in the Kathopanishad in almost the same words. Okay? So in Kathopanishad, this entire life or samsara, as it is called, is considered to be Ashwatth Vruksha. I will come to the word Ashwatth later. But Urdhva Moola, its roots are high up because it has begun from Brahma. Right? Adhashakam. And the branches are here in this world.
Yes.
Okay, so Urdhva Mula Adhashakham,
Mm.
it is a vyaya, it does not change, it goes on for many, many years as it was.
Mm.
Right?
Mm.
So it goes on. But what is Ashwatha? I mean, we translate it as people, people, right? And Adhashakham, people take it as Paramya and whatnot. It is not that. Do you know what it literally means? Agni took the form of a horse and entered the people tree. And Ashwatha, where a horse, that is Agni, lives, is one explanation given by some commentators, which I don't quite like. Other explanation is more important, and that suits this entire idea of samsara. A, as you know, is a negation, like a bhaya, a shoka, etc. Right? So a is not. Shiva is tomorrow. In Sanskrit, the word for tomorrow is Shva. And Tha is the one that stays, like Grihastha and all those things. Right? So Ashwatha is this is some idea which does not stay for tomorrow. That is, it is all in Sanskrit, they call it Kshanamatra. It is not permanent. Momentary. It is not Nitya. It is Anitya. It is not Akshara. It is Kshara. It is not Avyaya. It is Vyaya. That is subject to change, subject to decay, subject to destruction. It is not Avinashi. It is Vinashi. In other words, whatever is the description of Brahma given in the Upanishadic text, entirely the other way around is this samsara, where we get entangled, just as anybody would get entangled in the downwards roots of a people tree, we also get entangled in that. This is what they mean. Okay, and then they of course describe it. Yeah. But you know why that is possible? As a school child, school students, at least in our times, there would be a memorization competition, Pathamtara Spardha. And the first two were 12th Adhyaya and 15th Adhyaya. Why? Because they are smaller. Yeah. They are smaller. Easy to pronounce. It's easier to remember for school-going children, but that starts your Gita Patana. And so that was very important. I don't know why people don't do that anymore. I know. But they should be doing it. Doing it, yes. They should be. So this is what Ashwatha means. And this is a metaphor on this entire samsara.
So samsara is Ashwatha, which is supposed to be changing, decaying, and it is not Shashwat.
No, Ashwatha. Like you are not sure it will be there tomorrow. By tomorrow, they mean after. Yeah.
Absolutely. Even in literal meaning also, if you take it, we do not know what is going to happen in the next moment.
Yeah, right.
So that's very true.
Right.
As you rightly said just now, that Bhakti Marga, Jnana Marga, and Karma Marga. So somewhere it is said in Gita also, I do not remember the exact verse, but in Kali Yuga, Karma Marga is the most important and very prominent compared to first two. Reasons are also given. But they say that Bhakti Marga is really difficult for people to follow because you have to see God in everything, which is difficult.
Not only that, Ketki, the thing is, for Bhakti Marga, you must have a pure mind.
Faith.
And which is so difficult these days, to have a pure mind. And by pure, I mean pure. I don't mean intelligent or whatever. No, I want a pure mind. Secondly, like you said in the beginning, you have to shed your ego. You have to realize that you are nowhere compared to God. Unless and until you realize, you shed your ego, you cannot fathom the height and greatness of God Himself. And therefore, Bhakti Marga, though apparently it looks nice and easy to follow, that just go to the temple and then keep doing bhajana. It's not, that is not bhakti.
Bhakti Marga.
Bhakti, the definition is bhakti paranurakti ishware. Your extreme love and respect for God. And that is very difficult. That is very difficult.
Correct. And so is Jnana Marga also, because there is
Jnana Marga, I didn't even discuss that because there are so many texts. And like I said, Brahma Sutra, Athato Brahma Jinyasa. My God. It's impossible for a person to understand that.
Correct. Very few chosen souls, Avtara, could do that Jnana Marga.
Very true.
Very few people.
And there are people even today, I must tell you that, who have combined Karma Marga, Jnana Marga and Bhakti Marga and are following that successfully. But like you say, these are chosen few,
Yes.
It's not
no
an ordinary job at all.
Yeah, it's not. They are avatar. They only could do that.
They really are.
Yeah. So in Kali Yuga, what people should follow if they are into Karma Marga? It's not necessary that they should be doing social work in the name of Karma Marga, but while doing their own duty, while they are doing their own karma or kartavya, what is that they should be focusing on? What is the gist?
Okay, I'll tell you one thing. Focus on your duty. Focus on your karma. Okay? See, when you talk about Karma Marga in olden days, what Gita was talking about is rituals. Yajna and all. You know, Yajna Bhavati Parjanya and all those things. So Gita was talking about Yajna. Vedas were talking about Yajna. Upanishads did not. Upanishads did not talk of Yajna. They talked about only spirituality. Right? But now the karma, I have never performed an Ashwamedha.
I know.
Won't even think of
Nobody,
etc. So what we should do is, as a mother, what is my karma? As a wife, as a teacher, what is my karma that I should do? Okay? As a Sanskrit teacher, what is my karma? My karma is to spread the knowledge which my teachers have endowed to me. Like in Maras, there is a poem which says, Ananta haste kamalavarane deta kiti gleshilado. My teacher gave that to me, and so to give that to others is my karma. You call it your mission, you call it your job, your profession, passion, but that is your karma. Okay? And that you must follow in today's world. Do your duty, that is more than enough. And do your duty diligently.
Yes,
and
sincerely.
Knowingly.
Yes.
That is, there are people who under wrong impressions, what is called avidya, they think that killing other people is going to give them a place in heaven.
Yes.
That's not karma. That's not right karma either. So do your karma which is right. Niyatam kuru karmani. Whatever is vihita karma is what they say. Vihita is that which is ordained for you. You should do that.
And rightness is most important. Do with diligence and sincerity. That is what.
Course.
But also, Dr. Anishtam Ishtam Mishram Cha. Trividam Karmana Phalam. And Bhavatya Tyaginam Pretyat Natu Sannyasinam Kvachit. So very rarely people can disown the credit of their work and still perform their duties.
I'll tell you one thing. Here I am talking to you about philosophy of Gita and this and that. But a time comes when even I am tempted to eat a chocolate.
True.
Even I get angry and I scold people.
Yes.
Right? I fight. Whatever.
Yes.
No one is free from
Shadripu.
This Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha is a wonderful verse, according to me, that explains the psychology of human behavior. Even today, you analyze anybody and you realize that they have followed the same steps. First desire, then anger because your desire was not fulfilled, then because of anger, buddhinasha. It all goes on. Like Arjuna,
Yeah.
his mind was clouded. His consciousness was confused.
Yes.
And he just did not understand anything. In today's parlance, it is called panic attack. What Arjuna's symptoms are given, mukham cha parishushati and all that, that is called panic attack, which happens to us too. We say, oh my God, I didn't even understand what I should do at that moment.
Yes.
This is what Arjuna did.
Yes.
So let's learn from his example. Let us learn from Gita and move ahead.
There is a lot talked about Purushartha also in Bhagavad Gita. So I think that is a good topic to end with. In your way, how do you define Purushartha?
Purusha, Artha. Artha is aim, right? Just as we say Vidyarthi, that is for whom Vidya is his aim, that is his purpose in life. So what should a man gain? And by man, you mean human being, right?
Human being, yes.
So Dharma, first of all, your duty. Dharma is also duty. Dharma is not religion in Sanskrit, as you all know.
No.
Dharma, Artha. When you become a man and get married, Artharjana, that is having money. By money, I don't mean the scam of 7,000 crores or whatever. No, not that. But enough to feed your family and take care of that. Artha is important. Kama is important.
Yes.
Kama, anything which is
any
in a
work,
limit,
any passion,
is always important, because unless you have that, the human race will not move ahead, And then later on, moksha. These purusharthas, they correspond, not totally, but they correspond to the 4 ashramas: brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, these are important, and like I said, everything with a pinch of salt. Always remember, excess of even a good thing is bad.
Very true.
Right?
Very true.
Everything must be followed, but in its own limits.
Very true. So as
it's impossible to talk about Gita in 60 minutes or so. But anyway, we have tried to do a lot of things.
Yes.
So I think we should stop here. But I would end with a sentence by Vivekananda. And that is, he always used to say in his speeches and in his writings and everything, Uttishtata Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodhata. That is, get up. This is Gita philosophy. Uttishtata, wake up. Jagrata, come on, get up and wake up. Prapya Varan Nibodhata, and understand that you have to attain Vara, that is better and better things. So this is what I would say to all of you too. Uttishtata Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodhata.
Om Tassaditi Shri Bhagavad Gita Supanishassu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. Dhanyavad.